All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Brokers and Basketball NBA Pick'em. So we've got I don't know who this guy Trey Griggs is. He's got an alter ego, so he's got the mustache and not the hair. It's a new Trey. So welcome, Trey. Welcome, Tommy. How we doing?
Good, guys. How are you guys?
Let's go. Let's go. I'm
Wow.
excited to be here, because I love basketball, but I haven't been as into it lately as normal. This kind of gets me right back in. So I'm pretty excited to be here. And this is all a problem based by the fact that I'm in a production of Newsies at Missouri Baptist University with my daughter, and I got to play an 1899 New York newspaper editor. And apparently the faux hawk and the beard just wasn't cutting it. So I had to go this route.
Well, at least it's a great reason. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and it's going to end soon.
Yeah, so we are missing one of our guys. Unfortunately, we're here having fun, and business has to be taken care of first. So Josh Lyles with Sales Dash had to bow out the last minute. So he's going to be the guy we talk shit about the whole time. So
He's just nervous about his picks. He just didn't want to come. He didn't want to come face the music for this week.
Yep. So
I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous of going up against Josh because that guy, man, he eats and sleeps and breathes NBA basketball. So he knows a lot about a lot. I'm the resident idiot here. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll win a couple rounds. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, it's all for fun, anyways. That's really why we're here. Just shared love of the game, everybody. I just reached out to these guys and was like, hey, let's do something fun and put it out there. So we started last week, so we'll go over our picks here shortly. But quick intro, who we are. Cale Pearson, B2B Transportation. I think everybody probably knows that, but also want to just let everybody know that may not know who we are, what we're doing. So I don't know, Trey, Tommy, who wants to kind of plug their business real quick?
Well, all right. So I'm Trey Griggs, founder and CEO of Beta Consulting Group, and also the MC and the director of marketing for Broker Carry Summit.
Let's go.
Man, phenomenal place. And I'm also the founder of SupplyChainSwag.com. Lots of stuff going on. Been in the industry about 13 years. Kelly, you and I met back when I was at DAT back in the day.
I know.
I was in Portland. You were over in the Redmond area. I think that's where you were. So we've known each other quite a while, and it's always good to do fun stuff like this with you, my friend. Glad to be here.
Yep. Awesome. Tommy, what you got?
Hell yeah. I'm Tommy from Think Freight, run a media company. We're doing 3 times a week, weekly freight newsletters. And we also have a podcast talking to some of the greatest minds. And
dude, what's your podcast name? I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, it's the Think Freight podcast, brother.
The Think Freight podcast. Oh,
yes, sir.
It. I got to check that out. That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe check it out
myself as well, but that's awesome.
Exactly. I love it, dude. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So we do podcasts as well, and then yeah, man, excited to do some pick'ems basketball with you guys because it's fun to do something a little bit different. And as Cale knows, I'm a diehard Bulls fan. I wear a Bulls hat in most of my videos, but I'm kind of a casual when it comes to the other 31 teams in the league, or 30 teams in the league. So excited to see.
We may have to get Adam Robinson on here. He's a big Spurs fan. I know there's some big NBA basketball fans out there. We may have to have some special guests from time to time to throw this around.
Definitely. So one of the things that I just told Tommy, but Trey, so whoever is leading or led last week's picks gets to have their logo displayed. So spoiler alert, you guys know who won week 1. So Broker Dude is up there, and it'll be on the
whole episode. Wasn't me.
Yeah. So
wasn't me either.
So the format is just straight pick 'em. We're not picking all the games because, man, it's like there's a lot of NBA games every week. But it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday games. Very simple. 1 point for a win, actually a -1 for a loss. So it looks like there's a big separation in the standings, but there's really not because it's a 2-point swing on every game. So
it's volatile. Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen too so that people can see the standings. All right. Drum roll there. But as you can see, there's other people in here. So we're going to open this up to other people as well. I'll drop it in the comments here shortly, the link. And if anybody wants to have it, it'll be in the show notes as well. But I came out on top. It was pretty close. So a score of 10, which equates to basically, I thought there was a record there, but basically 10 points. So that means I won more than I lost. And then Josh Lyles, 8 points, and then 3 balls, which is Trey, right?
That's right.
And Think Freight. So a score of 4. So that means you're positive. It means you picked more winners than losers. Just not as good as the broker dude or as Jay Lyles for 3. So what I want to kind of talk about, anything you guys got there to add into your picks that you're like, damn it.
Well, I think I still have a bias towards the Bulls because of Michael Jordan. That's a problem. I may have to rethink that because that may not be a smart pick. I don't know. I may have to recalibrate my brain around that because I'm still thinking like 90s Bulls, and it's just not the same, man. It's just not the same.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like you get in your mind like this time of a team and how dominant they were, and you just can't get that out of there. So I feel you on that.
I'm surprised. I picked Denver against Minnesota, and I know Minnesota's on the rise, and Denver seems to be maybe kind of falling a little bit. But man, that's going to be a great battle for the next few years, in my opinion. Both organizations seem to be ran very well. Minnesota's got some incredible talent with Anthony Edwards, and it's just going to be neat to see that. But I picked Denver. I kind of thought that after the playoffs last year, they'd have a reason to come out and kind of make a statement. They did not.
Yeah, it was close though. So.
Well, I think I'm gonna choose the Bulls to win all 82 games this season, and I'm gonna get burnt really bad on most of them.
Dude, that's loyalty, man. I gotta say, Chicago fans, Cleveland fans, Boston fans, there's a loyalty to those markets, and I can respect that, even though that may be foolish. I think you should do it. I think you should go all 82 Chicago.
Oh, I will. I absolutely will. Listen, I was telling Kale right before we started. I think the Bulls wholeheartedly we should blow it up and go and win 10 games this season. I would still pick them to win every single game because that's how much I believe in what they're building there. But right now they're not doing very well.
I'm going to go opposite, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to go. I'm not picking Chicago again because I picked them once they lost. I'm done. So we'll just see how that turns out for us.
Delete them out. You go opposite. I'm going to go all in on the Bulls.
Massive advantage for one of us.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be a massive advantage, Trey. But I'm going all in.
I just got to stay in front of Think Freight. I don't care about the rest. If I beat you, that's all that matters. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm just not picking Chicago at all.
There we go.
That's how I'm going to do
it. Yeah, because we really all got burned. We all picked Chicago to beat Brooklyn.
We all did. did. Yeah.
So definitely that got us all.
Isn't it funny how there's like this hint of like maybe they'll be good again? Just there's like the nostalgia. I mean, they've been terrible for a while now. While now.
We've had like 2 good seasons since '98.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like every year it's the year. And I mean that's all of Chicago sports though. I mean, I'm a Bulls, Bears, Cubs, and if the Cubs suck, I'm a White Sox fan. I do not claim the White Sox at all right now. They're absolutely terrible. But every year is our year. It doesn't matter how terrible last year was. If you listen to White Sox fans, they're ready. They're either ready to a quarter of the fan base ready to move to Nashville, and the 75% saying sell the team and we're going to be the best team ever. So, Chicago sports fans are a breed of our own.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
the truth. That's the truth. Hey, before we go any further, I have to tell you how I came up with my name, of course. I got to share this. So, Kale, you sent me a highlight video of your son playing basketball, shooting some threes. Just had a really cool thing. I love that, by the way. That was really cool. You should share these shit in the comments somehow so people can see that as well.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. But this is me in 1997 up in Nampa, Idaho.
Oh, nice.
At the NAI National Championship. And this is the first 3 that I shot and made in the tournament. And think about this. This is 1997. There's no cell phones. People aren't taking pictures everywhere. The photographer just happened to be right there on the baseline, capture this picture. I didn't even know it until after the tournament when you're going back through all the pictures from the tournament, just hoping that you made a picture. And then this one rolls up and I was like, oh, I got to capture that. So that was me, sick. 3 balls there. So decent form. Look at the hair. Look at the hair, everybody. That's something.
That's
awesome.
A lot of hair. So that was, man. Yeah. I mean, so NAIA obviously, I mean, we can obviously talk about college basketball too, because NAIA, in my opinion, is underrated from a college basketball perspective. There are some dudes that play it.
Really good players. The player of the year that year we played against from Bethel College, his name was Rico Swanson. This dude was 5'9", could jump out of the gym, could shoot the 3 ball. He's put 29 up against us. Was really fun to try to guard, really fun to play against. And I mean, he was a national player of the year that year. We had an All-American on our team, Chad Jones, 23 a game, 6'7", had a fadeaway that was just like one of the prettiest things you'll ever see. There's some really, really talented players at the NAIA level. And a lot of them go there because maybe school is more important, or maybe their parents went to that school and they want to continue the traditional legacy, or they want to play multiple sports. If you go to NCAA schools, the likelihood of playing multiple sports is really hard. But if you go to an NAIA school and you want to play basketball and do track, for example, or something like that, you can do that. So you get these really talented guys at the NAIA level, and they just don't get a lot of traction, a lot of play, because people think, oh, NAIA, it's not NCAA. There's some really talented kids. Brooks Russell played at William Jewell College, NAIA school, and from 92 to 95. And that guy could have played at KU, no doubt. Yeah. He was 6'7", had a phenomenal shot, very fast, great defender. And he wanted to do track in the spring. So he went to William Jewell and got to do both.
That's awesome.
Was an All-American in both.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's
so some really talented people on that level.
Yeah. So that's, and what was the school you played at, Trey?
William Jewell College, Kansas City, Missouri. It's now NCAA Division II, but it was NAIA Division II for decades. I mean, probably 50 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool.
William Jewell used to play KU back in the day. Like that's how old it is. The school is 150 years old. They actually played KU back in the day. Both places, home and away.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good history there.
Right on. See, we can just talk basketball all day long, and it just can dovetail into anything crazy. So, I'll talk about my upset pick of the week last week, and it was, I don't know if it was necessarily an upset, but based on what everybody picked, it was Memphis. And that was really a change kind of at the last minute. I was looking at, just the drama going on in Philadelphia with Embiid. PG wasn't playing yet. He's back now. And I was like, and their record. I was like, their record was garbage.
I think Philly might be another team I don't pick again for the rest of the year. I don't trust them.
Yeah, I know. So what
am I going to do when Philly plays Chicago? That's the question. What am I going to do? I don't know.
You have to go Chicago, I think.
I can't. I already said I can't.
That's fair. But you just said you can't go Philly either.
I might not even pick a game now.
You can't pick. Can't pick. Just take the L.
That's funny.
Might have to do that.
So did you guys, it doesn't look like based on, you talked about yours, Trey. You had Denver over Minnesota. That was, I'll talk about my worst pick of the week. And I'm a Golden State fan. I picked Houston to win because they were at home, and just historically, Golden State doesn't travel well there, but they went in and just took care of business.
I think anytime you got Steph Curry, I don't know. To me, Steph Curry is kind of like, I'll just say it, Patrick Mahomes. Like, it's hard to bet against the guy. It's hard to bet against that guy. Like, he can take over a game in ways that very few can. I mean, if he gets hot, if they start playing well and moving the ball well, they're hard to defend. If they're moving the ball well and they're hitting their threes, it's just so hard to defend. It's hard to find five guys that can do that for 48 minutes.
Yeah, that's awesome. While I'm thinking about it, if you're logged on here, let us know who your pick is to win it all this year in the comments. And one of the things I want to do too as we move forward, I'm going to send out this pick 'em. But if you are really good at this, there's an opportunity to come on. Not that it's like a huge honor, but it's still fun to come on and be that guest for the week and have bragging rights. So get your picks in, and it's free, and it's just fun. So I'll drop that stuff in the comments, but drop in the comments right now where or who you think is going to win it all this year.
Can we
you
talk
guys
about
want to go on record?
Can we talk about Boston for a second?
Sure.
We all picked Boston twice, every one of us, and they won both games. They're looking pretty strong.
Yeah,
looking pretty strong. I mean, that's one that we all got right. New York, we all picked New York as well, and New York won beat Detroit. I think
it's tough to. I think right now it's really tough to bet against. To really bet against Boston. I mean, they really showed us last year going through the playoffs, and they just showed us a different side. And I think they're hitting their prime right now. And I just don't think that we have. I don't think that any team really stands a chance except for teams maybe like the Warriors. And I see Chad Atkinson saying the Bulls. They're absolutely going to win it all. Absolutely, let's go.
Yeah. That's just a dig, I think.
That's not happening.
I don't know who.
They're going.
Are you talking about the draft? Or are you talking about the?
I'll take either one at this point.
I mean, they're probably going to win the draft. I mean, they're probably going to not get that pick.
If we would blow it up, I would be the happiest person in the world, and I would come on this podcast and sing the praises of Bulls management. But they will not blow it up because they want to be competitive and they like ticket sales.
Hey, I'm with Ahmed. He likes the Wolves. I like
that
Minnesota because they got a taste. They got a taste, but they didn't quite get it. And they probably were motivated like crazy in the offseason. They remind me of, for example, like the 2014 Kansas City Royals, who went to the playoffs for the first time, made it to the World Series, made it to Game 7, lost at home. And you can believe that every day in the offseason they thought about that. They came back in 2015 on purpose, ran through the playoffs again, won the whole thing. It's got that feeling about it because Minnesota has not been in the playoffs much. They haven't had a lot of success in the playoffs. Here they get in the playoffs. They get so far last year and they don't win it. And like the taste, they just got the taste. I think they got what they want in that regard. It's going to motivate them all season long. So I like that pick a lot.
Awesome. So who's your guys' pick?
To win it all. I mean, if I had to pick right now, I'm going to jump on the Minnesota bandwagon because I want to see that story happen. Like I actually want it to come true, but I think it's too early to make a pick for me. I want to see how things shake out in the first, 30, 40 games just to get a feel for like who has chemistry, who's moving the right direction, those types of things, who's standing out. So I don't know. Nicholas, good question. Yes, is there shooting good enough for Minnesota? I don't know. It's a hard choice right now. Again, I'm totally playing on emotion in last year's run. Totally a hard pick for me. I'd like to see it happen. So maybe it'll change down the road. I say this. I say that, we probably ought to have like a revisit this conversation at, 20 games, 40 games, 60 games, and then
definitely
in the playoffs.
Yeah, because it is. I mean, injuries are a huge part of it, obviously. Who's going to get hurt? Going back to Boston, I am clearly not a Boston fan based on what I'm wearing here. But they didn't even, and I don't even know who the guy's name is. He's number 88. And I was watching the game the other night and he was throwing down like crazy. And I think he was a second round pick a year or two ago. And it's like, how do they get more loaded? Because they don't even have KP right now. He's still hurt.
Listen, it's like Kansas City. How does Kansas City get DeAndre Hopkins for nothing in football? Like it's good management. Like you build an organization that people want to go to. It's good management, and then they find talent where other people don't see it.
I'm gonna put you and Chad Atkinson in a room one day just so you guys can love on the Chiefs.
Yeah, we can love fest the Chiefs. Yeah.
I hear it all day long.
I'm gonna keep throwing Chiefs references in throughout the show. That's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah, Nicholas. I think OKC is definitely a great pick.
That's who I'm picking to win it all. I mean, they've got shooting. They've got the biggest thing I think that they've got in their advantage is defense. Alex Caruso coming over from the Bulls in the offseason was probably their biggest acquisition. That's what they really needed last year in the playoffs, and where they fell off was defense. They couldn't defend anyone, and I think this year having Alex Caruso. I mean, we saw the Bulls when they went on their run in 2022 going into 2023. Alex Caruso was a big reason they were able to do that, along with Lonzo Ball. So I think that if they're able to keep that level of intensity and Alex Caruso can stay healthy this year, they're a major contender this year.
All right, 2 questions I got. Does anybody trust the Phoenix Suns?
No.
Or the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Cavaliers, yes. Phoenix, no.
Yeah, really, you trust the Cavaliers? See, listen.
Yeah, I don't trust the health. I don't trust the health in.
Well, here's my thought. I feel like organizations and leadership management either have the championship DNA or they don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I just don't know that Cleveland Cavaliers have the championship DNA to sustain it. I don't trust it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
They're looking pretty good though, but I do not trust the Suns at all. I think there's just too much of me ball that's going to happen. But I really do. I was telling my son the other day, I was watching Phoenix play, and I was not a D-Book fan until the Olympics. I felt like he was always trying to be Kobe prior. But he knew his role at the Olympics, and if that transfers over, they could be a lot better. So
I mean, can you blame him though? I mean, think about this. If you're a basketball player that grew up watching Kobe, you want to be Kobe. I mean, everybody wanted to be MJ. I mean, remember back in the day, we had all these like the next MJs coming up. Who was the guy that played for Miami Heat? Harold. What was his name? Harold Miner. Like they're like Baby Jordan. That's what people want to be, as the next whoever. I mean, if you're going to be somebody, be like Kobe. I totally get it. He's trying to do that. But I think, when those guys get to play with the great of the greats, they know their place. They find their place.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. We'll see if that changes his perspective as he goes back and plays more team ball. But
yeah, we got a couple other comments. AE can't do it by himself. Kim's going with Boston.
True. Got to have some more, but you never know who's going to be acquired acquisition, or with a trade or something like that. You don't know who's going to get hurt. You don't know what teams are going to be out of it and start giving away assets that they otherwise wouldn't. You just don't know. You don't know what's
exactly.
Going to happen, but I think you're right.
And then it looks like Nick is definitely on OKC. They added some. What's Hartenstein's name? Is it Isaiah?
Yeah, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah, he's underrated. Came from New York, I believe, last year.
I mean, the only defender that the Phoenix really has, and he's not even a lockdown defender, is Grayson Allen. And I mean, are you going to trust Grayson? Are you going to trust Grayson Allen?
Grayson Allen is a lockdown defender.
Okay,
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that guy is something else. Yeah, he did a foul the other night when I was watching that Phoenix game. He needs somebody in the head, and it was like, that is not a basketball play. It's not a natural act to drive your knee into the back of somebody's head as you're coming down.
No,
it was bad.
So I got a funny story for you real quick from last season. So Josh and I had a chance to go to the Phoenix Suns' final home game last year. It was actually the week of TIA down in Phoenix, and they were playing the Clippers. So we go to the game, and we go in the game. I couldn't believe it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think at one point it was 37-4. Clippers beating the Suns at home.
Yeah.
I've never seen a game that lopsided. I've never seen a crowd walk out so fast. People hadn't even finished their first soda and were gone.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
It was nuts. But here's the crazy part about it, because Josh and I were talking about this. We're like, this is unbelievable, but it's way too early. It's not over yet. And they came back in the NBA, a 7-point game. They got to 7 points after being down 30 in the first quarter. Like, the swings in NBA now are greater than any other sport that I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, in football, it's hard to make up 20 points like that. You have to have really special players with circumstances to make up that kind of a deficit in football. In baseball, it's hard to make up a 5-run, deficit. But in basketball, you're down 20, you're right in it. It's crazy. I feel like 20 years ago that wasn't the case.
Right.
But with the 3-ball now, you can make up 20 points really quickly.
I would totally agree with that. The swings in basketball and momentum is such. Well, there was so last year, going back to high school basketball, we were first round of the playoffs. My son, we were down 19 at home going into the fourth quarter, and we won the freaking game. I mean, a guy had a breakaway dunk and he missed it, and you could just feel the momentum change. It would have been a 21-point lead, but we got the ball, went down. I think we scored a 2 or 3, and it was, and we ended up winning by 5. So it's like, that's a huge swing in 8 minutes.
It's crazy. My high school, Raytown South High School in Kansas City, one of the most prolific basketball schools in Missouri, 4 state championships. They had a 5th. They were on the cusp of 5th my freshman year of high school in 1993. And they were up 20 in the fourth quarter, and they pulled all their starters. And they lost the game. Yeah, they lost the game. Because they started hitting threes, the momentum. By the time they got the starters back in there, they were cold. They were already celebrating like they weren't even in the game anymore, and we lost the game. And like 20 points is a lot of points, but man, with that 3-ball, if you just hit a couple of threes, get a couple stops, I mean, you're right back in it. It's really wild.
Well, on that mark, I mean, 2 of the Bulls' 3 wins this year have come off of, they were down 20 plus points going into the fourth quarter and came back and won. I mean, just to your point, 2 of their 3 wins have come off of 20-point, 20-point swings. So it's like, it happens a lot more in the NBA than it ever used to. I remember, back in the early 2000s, if you had a 20-25-point lead, I mean, you could sit your starters, game's over. I mean, I remember that point in time with the Bulls where we would get,
you weren't chucking up 15 threes in a quarter. And
now, exactly.
They're just chucking them up.
When you get 40, 45 threes in a game, that's insane.
Yeah. This leads to a conversation we're not going to have today, but maybe at some point we should have, was the style of basketball is so different today. I mean, Steph Curry definitely changed the style of basketball. What would it be like, man, if you could put like the Celtics of the 1985-86 season against, the Warriors of 2015? The styles are so different. It would be fascinating to see which one would actually win out, because I don't think there's any chance that some of the teams from the 80s and 90s could guard on the perimeter 5 guys with who they had. They couldn't do it. Right. But I also don't think that the teams of today could battle inside at all with some of the
that's it. They'd get body, like the Warriors would get absolutely dominated inside, but still the 3-point ball is more than 2.
They're shooting a three ball at 40-45% clip.
It's such a fascinating conversation.
70% clip.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's hard to overcome that. I find it. I love the Bulls of the '90s. I love the Celtics and Lakers of the '80s.
Yeah.
I'd love to say as an old guy they'd win. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So.
It's just a different brand, you know.
It is.
But the rules are different too. How it's officiated.
Oh, right.
You know, you go back to the Olympics and watching that was basketball, in my opinion. Hand checks were allowed. It's like it was very physical.
There's a physical element to it. Yeah.
And that's just not there anymore. I mean, it's like you put two hands on a guy and it's the whistle.
Yeah.
You know,
I as a player who played in the '90s, I definitely enjoyed that style of play because it just felt like it was fun. Like you just felt like it was just like more of a contact sport. As a shooter, though, I would love to play in this era. I'd love for coaches to say, "You better take 10 to 15 threes a game." Are you kidding me? Give me the rock. I'm putting it up. Let's go.
Right.
Trey's got the green. Trey's got the green light every time he's touching the ball.
Back in the day, you only shot a three if it was the play or if somebody left you open and you had a wide open look. That's the only time you got to shoot a three back in the day. Yeah. And now, man, these guys are coming down looking for it, man. Like, I mean, just think like Caitlin Clark. She's not giving it up if she's open. I mean, you better guard her at the logo, and that's just that and Steph Curry just totally changed the game. I would wish I had a shot to play in this era. That would have been fun.
I know that walk up three is so common now. You know, I call it that just dribbling up and just put it up,
and shoot it from 30. Here's a funny stat too. I didn't think about this. Caitlin Clark's average distance on a 3-point shot in the WNBA this year is further than Steph Curry's average three.
Wow. Yep.
That's wild. Made three, that is. Made three. Yeah. Further average three. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Impressive.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see.
We got a couple of other comments here. Chad said no Cleveland predictions.
Chad, we talked about. I don't trust them. I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Let's get to 40 games and see where they're at. Let's see.
Great. Nick said the same thing I did. Grayson will really trip some people up.
100%.
So, that guy just bugs me wrong or just bugs me so much. It's just
listen, I liked the Duke mentality until that came around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I liked the Duke mentality. I was a Duke fan for a long time. Just that hard nose, just Wojo slapping the floor, obviously Bobby Hurley, all that. But man, like when you're gonna go out there and trip people and stuff, and then like pretend like you don't know what happened, then do it again. It's like, all right, dude, like I've seen enough.
Exactly. Yep. So all right, so let's talk about next week. So do you guys have a lock? One game that's a lock for you. I'll bring the schedule up. I think I had it up.
There's some tough ones, and one I'm looking forward to tonight, and you guys may want to jump into it because we were just talking about them a little bit, but it's Phoenix and Dallas. I mean, that's going to be a fun game tonight. Dallas has a lot on the line, being 5-3, and Phoenix 7-1. I mean, who are you guys trusting in this one? Is anyone taking Phoenix? I don't think I am.
I mean, again, I go back to that scenario of I just don't know that I trust the organization, even though they're talented. They're really talented, but it's so early in the season, it's hard to really know where people are going to fall. I mean, to me, this is a 50-50.
Yeah, I think I have the Mavs picked. I think they're a sleeper for me as well. If they can get going, and if Clay can be a shell of himself, I don't know that he can be. But I think that they can make a run because I think that Luka is damn near unstoppable.
Dude, I got to watch that guy play last year. The dude is playing slow motion out there.
I know.
I mean, slow motion and nobody can stop him. He's just like a bus coming through a bike rack. I mean, just like, nobody's stopping that dude. It's impressive.
That's I still coach youth basketball, and that's one of the things that I always highlight is when you're fast, it's fine, but even great defenders will get your timing down.
Yeah.
But the ability to slow down on the drive, it's like it screws people up.
People don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with it. Yeah. Well, I remember back in the day, like Bobby Hurley was a big like kind of role model for point guards back in the day. And one thing he did really well when he brought the ball on the court is sometimes he'd go really fast and he'd pull it back and slow down. Sometimes he'd go slow and then speed right past you. And like he would change up speeds and directions better than any other point guard. And people kept thinking like, how is this little white kid getting past all these, much more athletic players on the court? And it was because he was really good at changing speeds.
Yeah.
He understood that. He understood to throw people off balance and never give them, an idea of what you're doing and to do it a little differently every time. Luke is the best I've seen at that kind of stuff. It's crazy how good he is.
And that's the thing I teach all the time is if you can throw a hezzy in there and just get them to pause for a moment and then reaccelerate, you're right by them.
Yep.
So,
go slower, be under control. It's so hard because you get in these games, you got adrenaline. You want to, you think you got to play faster, you got to play quicker, but man, sometimes you just got to slow it down, and it's really, really impactful to do that.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, some other games. A big game tonight too. Warriors Cavs. I mean, Warriors just went into Boston. You guys know who you're picking on that one? I'm still torn on that one.
So I picked Golden State just because I just like them. I'm gonna be the emotional picker of this group. All right, I'm not gonna look at a lot of analytics and data, but I just like to watch their game travel. I love to see them play well. And again, I just don't in my gut trust Cleveland. I know they're 9-0, but I don't trust them.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I go back and forth because I think Cleveland, they have a lot of the attributes. I mean, they're scoring the ball, they're playing good defense. But God, I look at Golden State and I look at the offense they've put together, and it's just like a brand new brand of basketball when they've added Buddy Hield and replaced Clay. Buddy Hield is actually playing defense for like one of the first times in his career. He has
Buddy Hield.
Dude, he has the motivation to play defense now, and he's always shot the ball so damn well. So I think that it's going to be, I think that addition's a lot bigger than what people give anything credit for.
Yeah.
My pick tonight is Warriors. I think they're going to hand Cleveland the first loss of the season.
I mean, Buddy Hield, he played phenomenal at Oklahoma. He's a great shooter. He's a hard worker. He hasn't had the success that he wanted, coming out, but I think it's made him hungrier. Again, I got to go back to this. I think that he's just like Hunt for the Chiefs. I mean, the guy is incredibly talented, messed up, didn't get what he. Dude, that dude is hungry now. I mean, Kareem is getting after it for the Chiefs. I kind of see Buddy Hield kind of in that, in that category of like, man, he wants it really bad. He works hard. He's very talented. He hasn't had great situations. He hasn't had the success he wanted. And now he's on a team that he knows at least has a good DNA.
Yeah. And that culture, and reading on him, he is a great locker room guy. And I mean, we've all played sports, and having those glue guys that just bring everybody together.
Yeah,
it's magical.
We'll do anything for the team, put it on the line, play defense if they have to, like hard, and forget about offense and pass the ball, that kind of thing. Like, those people are gem.
Yep. Exactly. So I'm going Warriors too, and part of the reason I'm going Warriors, they go right after that. They go to Oklahoma City. And
I don't have them for that game.
I don't have them for that game either. So I was like, I got to pick them for one. So I was like, all right, because I'm kind of with you, Trey. I don't really trust the Cavs from a championship DNA perspective. Yeah, they won it, but it was with LeBron and Kyrie. What was that? Was that 16 or 19? I forget what year it was now. But
16 they won.
Yeah, 16.
Right in the meat of that Warriors run. They took it down.
That damn chase down block haunts me, man.
Hey, let me ask this question. We haven't talked about them yet. How are we feeling about Sacramento?
I haven't really seen. They've kind of been mixed. Let's look at the standing and see where they are.
I mean, they're 7th at 5-3.
Yeah,
I feel like they had some momentum coming off of last year. They played, they played pretty well last year, and I don't know. I don't know where they're at. I don't know how to judge them yet.
I struggle with them because I feel like one of their biggest problems was scoring and defense last year. But when you add DeMar DeRozan and it's just bully ball with him, is it really helping with the players you kind of have around? It's a very weird fit for DeMar to go there, even though he is having a pretty good season. I'm very bearish on them. I don't think that it's going to be a good season this year.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, they had a chemistry that I thought was really special.
Yeah, same.
Like that kind of messed the chemistry up a little bit. And like one of my favorite movies is the hockey movie about the Olympic team back in the day. Which one?
Miracle on Ice.
Yeah, Miracle movie. And one of the best parts of that is I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right players. Man, like that. I still think about that line. We're not looking for the best players. We're looking for the right players.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss what that actually means, those intangibles and the chemistry that you have. I mean, you think about Golden State when they went on their run, they didn't have the best players. They had great players. They had good players, but they had the right players playing together.
Sean Livingston. I mean, that guy.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, they had some guys that were okay on other teams that became almost superstars on that team because
Andre
of
Iguodala.
Yeah, Andre. I mean that guy's a good player. He's always been a good player, but he became a great player, a part of that unit. And I just think that sometimes, these GMs, they get in their mind, look at the numbers DeRozan puts up. Let's add him to our mix.
Is he gonna, work out. I almost feel like DeMar DeRozan is a throwback player.
He is.
It's like
him
he just,
and Kawhi. I mean, just
it doesn't fit in today's NBA. He's a great player, but he's just not the style of where it's at and where the game is. He hasn't evolved.
He's not going to win you. He's not going to win you a championship. He's an amazing player, but he's not going to win you a championship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and going back to your point, I mean, it's how do the pieces fit together is so critical, and you see it all the time that these teams make championship runs, and it's just like there's another thing that's happening there, and it's just team chemistry, team culture, whatever you want to call it, and it's just like great companies. When you walk in, you feel it, you see it, but you can't really put your finger on it.
Right.
But it's there.
All right, so let's go the other route. Let's talk about the bottom of the barrel, because we've talked about them a little bit, but we haven't talked about it in this context. I mean, who are you going to go with between the 76ers and the Hornets? Which team? It's in Philly, so that's why I chose them. But these two, both of them suck.
Yeah, right, I'll probably just do Philly just because it's home. But now they don't have Tyrese Maxey for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a killer. I mean,
and Embiid's suspended for 3 games. So
Embiid's done for 3 games. That's a tough one. I really don't know. I almost want to put my chips more against them at this point, honestly.
Yeah. Not well. And if you look at the standings, I mean, you got in the East, the Bucks won last night, but man, they've looked horrible.
They look terrible.
Along with the 76ers. I mean, you kind of expect the Raptors and the Pistons to be down there, and maybe not even the Magic, because they had a pretty good year last year. But now I'm going to mess up his name, Banchero
Banchero,
is out. I think I want to say oblique or something. I don't remember what it was, but the Bucks and the 76ers are huge disappointments so far.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, and talking about disappointments, I think one shocking one, and it may not get a lot of attention, but is Utah being 1-8. I mean, they're just terrible this year, and I'm just not. I thought they were going to be better based on kind of how they ended or they started last year. I'm a big believer in Lowry Markkanen, so I'm just kind of shocked that this is kind of blown up in their face the way it has.
Yeah.
They've definitely. I mean, they had a little run there in the West, but again, I think that their run was a chemistry run. I think Utah in general, that's kind of their mojo. Whenever they're a good team, is they got chemistry, and I think they've lost the chemistry. And so without having like a really great player that can just take over a game, I think this is what it is.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point too, Trey. Because if you don't have that guy that can just get a bucket. At any moment in any situation.
I think players like Grayson Allen actually played well in Utah. Like that was actually probably a good fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you shake that up for whatever reason, whether it's contract issue, salary cap, whatever it is. Like you shake that up, and it just doesn't hit.
Yeah. Well, and that brings me back to Phoenix, because they got Tyus Jones, but he's on a 1-year deal, so he's going to want a contract. So is he playing for the team, or is he playing for the next contract?
No, he's playing for his contract, and I really think that he's playing to get traded out of Utah at the deadline.
Yeah,
because they're not going to re-up him, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, he's in Phoenix now, Tyus Jones.
Yeah. Right, but he's probably. I mean, is Phoenix going to re-sign him if he has a great year?
No.
So he's probably definitely playing. But I think Phoenix knows that they just want to get the most out of him. It's almost like a college coach knowing they're going to get 1 year out of a guy. Like, how can we just get the most out of him knowing he ain't going to be here next year?
Yeah, exactly.
What that might look like, or maybe it becomes trade collateral, down the road for some pieces that you might need, some future pieces or whatever. So,
did you guys? What's your lock of the week? We got some cupcake games in here, I'm sure. Is there like? I'd bet the house on this game.
Which one? I can't see it.
It's just, do you have a game?
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
So I'm just kind of
So my it's just kind of I'm going to say this is a kind of a risky lock, but I'm going to say Boston against Brooklyn in Boston.
That's what I was just looking at that game too. I was like, that to me is like my lock.
I mean, I know that Brooklyn's having a decent start, 4-4, fourth in the West or in the East, but I just it's hard to go against Boston right now, just how they're playing, especially at home. I just don't know that I don't know that one's going to fall in the Nets' favor.
Yeah, I think another one could be the Timberwolves at home against the Blazers.
Yeah, I think that one's an easy lock for the Timberwolves, but I think, in my opinion, I've got a hot take. I've got Dallas over Phoenix tonight. I think that's a lock. Easy.
Do you think it's a lock?
I think it's a lock. I think it's a 15 or 20 point win for Dallas.
Dude, I thought that was a 50-50.
Yeah.
You're calling it a lock.
I think it's a lock.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's, to go from 50-50 to a lock. Because I thought you were with me on the 50-50 part, and now it's a lock.
Yeah. I mean, I normally I am, but I think tonight, I think, talking it out in my head, I think it's a lock. I think Dallas, as good as Phoenix is, I think it's going to be an easy win.
So here's my other lock is Atlanta hosting Chicago, because I can't go against Chicago. That's a lock. So
Chicago's got the easy win tonight. Trey's nothing.
No, that
Trey who?
That's funny. So fun fact about the Blazers. So my son Ian has a shooting coach, right?
Yeah.
Same shooting coach. He has Jeremy Grant and Scoot Henderson as clients.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty awesome.
That's cool.
So shout out. Maybe I'll have to get John on here one day. He's old school guy, teacher.
That's why he's hitting those threes now. I get it.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't getting that from you. I know. I mean,
I know that.
All right.
I can see the game, but I can't play the game like he can.
Yeah, this is interesting. We should make a kind of an A-list of people we would like to have on the show. We'd have a kind of a wish list, and we need to get it out there. And I'll tell you what, I played in high school against Teron Lue, coach of the Clippers.
Nice.
And that would be so sick to have him come on the show. Of course, he's not going to do it, but we're going to put him on the wish list. Ty Lue, if you're out there,
I'll get. He may not be known in this circle, but the biggest one that I could probably get is Marty Lunan. He played at Oregon. He coaches the crosstown rival. He lives literally like I could hit a 9-iron to his house. But he got drafted by the Rockets in the second round and ended up playing overseas for 10 plus years.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, went to Redmond High School, Gatorade Player of the Year, won state championship here. So
Oregon's got some talent, dude. There's some players in Oregon.
Solid dude. But yeah, that would be so cool.
Yeah, we'll have to create a little wish list and just start seeing if we can get some of them on the show. And for those who are watching, if you know some people that really know basketball or played basketball at a high level, let us know.
Know. Yep. Exactly. Well, we got a couple more minutes. I know, Trey, you got a show coming up in 17 minutes.
I do. Word on the Street. That's right. Every Friday at noon Central, Street Crew getting together, talking about the industry, politics, religion, sports, pop culture.
What is the word on the street this week, Trey?
The word on the street this week is, will the election impact freight? Will the election make freight great again? We've got some debate about that. Craig Fuller has been talking about that. He's been seeing some signs, some of the publicly traded companies and some of their movements, what we're seeing in that. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see what happens. But some people are thinking that things are going to be good at some point. I'm torn on it because the problem in our industry right now is too much capacity still. I just found out today that October, for the first month, capacity actually in net increase.
It did,
capacity, which means we had more. I don't get it. Like we don't need more capacity, but we either need less capacity or more volumes. We need one of the two. So let's hope that maybe the volumes increase. Maybe the economy will go in that regard.
I think the volumes will increase. Yeah, I mean, with Trump's tariffs, I think it'll, especially on the upswing coming into it for the next 3 months. I think we'll see a lot of volumes coming into LA.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm hearing some companies talking about maybe buying a little extra here at the end of the year to kind of stock up on that. We'll just see what happens with it. But that's kind of been a problem. And my business is downstream from that. So I work with brokers and carriers on their sales and marketing, and what we've seen is because carriers aren't making money, because brokers aren't making as much money, because the rates are so depressed, there's not as much money for the things that they want to do that I think they need to do, but a lot of times get cut, which is marketing and branding and building your company message and those types of things. Those things get cut. So it's been a rough stretch for service providers like myself in that regard. unless you were maybe already kind of embedded with companies and that type of thing. There's some companies that have done really well and have sustained kind of their client base. We've had a hard time getting the door. Plus, we love working with startups. And when the market's down, the startups have the least amount of money of anybody. And so we love helping startups get their brand out there. We love working with startups, but that's hurt us a little bit. So I'm hopeful that this gets money rolling again and people invest in their brand and their sales and marketing efforts, and we're able to help out in that regard. So
that's awesome.
We'll see.
I love it.
Cool.
We're talking all today.
45 minutes in, Trey's got to go to another show. Appreciate it. Yeah. Wish list, people you want on the show. I'll drop in the comments.
Go Chiefs. How about those
Chiefs? I can't really talk about my Niners this year because they were absolutely garbage, but hopefully CMC coming back helps us.
There's room. There's room on the Chiefs bandwagon. Come on. There's room.
Listen, I've joined it just because you guys have DeAndre Hopkins now. He's one of my favorite players of all time.
What a pickup. What a pickup. Just think about what the roster's going to look like in December. At the end of December. And they got him for peanuts, man. They got him for nothing.
For nothing.
But just imagine what the roster is going to look like at the end of December when Rice is back. You know, when you have just everybody hopefully healthy, Pacheco back. Pacheco and Rush or and Kareem Hunt as a 1-2 rushing attack. I mean, oh man, this is going to get good.
I'm on the side of NFL history this year. I want to see them do third consecutive Super Bowl.
Yeah. That'd be pretty stinking cool. That'd be pretty cool. And then people can hate all they want. Let's just knock this out of the way.
So awesome. Well, thanks guys for joining in. Love this. Again, I'll drop in the comments some stuff so that you guys can get in the pool, maybe be a guest, and hit us with who you want to see on the show.
Appreciate it. Enjoy it, fellas.
See you guys next week.